In this video, we'll create a new C++ project. In fact, in this project, we'll define the circle class again. But this time around, we are going to have the definition of the class in one file and the implementation of the class in another file. I start by creating another project in the Solution Explorer. So I go to Solution, right-click, Add, New Project, and then select Windows Console Application, and then the name of the project, let's call it circle3, let's say. We'll OK this, and then the project is created and placed right here. There is circle3 project. I'm using Visual Studio Community Edition version 2017. I believe this is the newest edition. And when you create a project in this edition, the project comes with a header file, pch.h, that's where the definitions go, and also another file, pch.cpp, which is the implementation file. Right now, I believe this is, let me go to pch.h. That's the content of pch.h. I'm going to remove all the comments here just to clean up the file, remove that comment as well, and then also go to pch.cpp. That's the implementation file. That is clean enough. Back to pch.h. That's our header file. That's where the definition of the class will go. So I'll go back to the header file. The header file has basically some compiler directives. In line 2, you have # if not define pch_h, then line 3 # define pch_h. The definition of the class will go between line 3 and 6. The compiler directives will avoid code duplication in the final source code, basically. Now, what we're going to do, we're going to go to the previous project, circle1.cpp. I'm going to go to that project, take the definition of the circle class. That's the definition. Of course, we implemented the function using the inline directive. I'm going to copy it, bring it back into pch.h, and then copy it over, Control V. There's our circle class, the definition of the circle class. I'm going to remove the inline command right there. And also, I'm going to remove all the implementations. So, and here's a semicolon that we'll place back in there. The implementation, we'll remove it, place semicolon in there, and the same for get area. This is basically our is the definition of our class. Now, to implement this circle class, we'll grab the functions in the circle class, Control C, copy it, and then move it to pch.cpp. That's where we implement these functions. So double click on pch.cpp. Right after line 3, after # include pch.h, we will paste the functions and then implement them one at a time. To implement the default constructor, first we enter the name of the class, circle, : This is the syntax for implementing the class functions. We start by the name of the class, : which is a symbol for scope resolution, the name of the function, and then the actual implementation that we'll have. And the implementation in this case, the default constructor basically sets the radius to 1. So implementation of default constructor is done. For the second constructor, similarly, we'll start with the name of the class, scope resolution, : and then the implementation of the code for this function. This second function assigns a new radius to radius. So this is equal to new radius. There you go, code is done. And finally, for get area function, The scope resolution or the name of the class comes after the return type. So double is the return type, and then the name of the class, circle, colon, the name of the function, which is get area, and then the implementation of it. For get area function, it returns pi r squared. Pi is 3.14 for the radius multiplied by radius. I can either say radius times radius, or in order to use the power function, I'm going to include IO stream so that the power function is recognized in there. So radius and raise this to the power of 2. And then we'll place a semicolon in there and we are all set. Now the last thing we want to do is to go to the file circle3.cpp. That file, circle3.cpp, also was automatically created by this version of Visual Studio. It basically takes the name of the project and turns that into the main function. So when I double click on it, it comes up right here. That's our main function. And what I need to do here, I'm going to remove all these comments. There's a default statement inside the main already. I'm going to remove that as well. What we want in the main is the same main that we ran in project 1, circle 1. So I'm going to go to circle 1 CPP, take the same main code, Control C, and then copy and bring it back to circle3.cpp, the main function in the current project. This is what we want to run. There's a last thing that we need to do. This Solution Explorer has 2 projects in it. Right now, Circle 1 is the active project. So if I run the project, Circle 1 will be executed. So in order to change the active project, I'll go to Circle 3, right click on it, and then click on Set as a Startup Project. Now notice that this Circle 3 project is highlighted. So I'll go to Debug and then Start without debugging. The program runs and hopefully the same result will show up. Right? But this time around, the project is split into multiple files. As a summary, once again, the definition of the class is placed in pch.h header file. And if you are using a version of C++ that does not supply you with this header file, you just create it on your own. But in the header file, with this format, as you can see, that's where the definition of the class goes, right? With the compiler directives that you see in there. And then the implementation of this class will go into pch.cpp. That's the implementation. Don't forget, you have to first start with the name of the class, colon, the name of the function, followed by the implementation in all cases. And then finally, you go to the main function and don't forget to include the header file. You must include the header file in the main function, in the main file. And then the main function will have code in which you create circle and start working with the circle.